Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All right,
anyway.
guys, I got 5:30 already. Let's call the meeting to order. We're gonna start with our pledge of allegiance.
I can't find that anymore.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, everybody here.
Okay, roll call. Steve? Here. Carol?
Here.
Jay? Here. Lexi?
Here.
And Jean?
Here.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna have to make a motion that we have to amend this agenda, because there's something on, when I just read the minutes this morning, that should have been on the agenda that we said we would talk about at this meeting. When we said that we will need to have clarification at the next meeting for the newspapers. And it's not on the agenda.
And that was tabled for this next meeting.
So we have to amend, I make a motion to amend this agenda, and we have to add them on the.
What about the other items that were delayed, tabled until this meeting and not on the agenda?
Council speaking right now. Pardon me? The council is speaking, please.
That's the only one I guess I saw when I was reading it this morning.
I was thinking everything else was on it. I have to take a look at it, I don't know.
Anything else? We do need to address the items 11 through 13. Yeah, no more of them here at
So-
this point, so we will table those until he can be in attendance.
What we need to vote on,
I'm gonna add them together.
all in one
All the
motion?
changes to the agenda. And then item 16, Kelly is not here tonight either to speak about his training, and we don't have papers telling you more about that for sure yet, so we want to make sure. If he needs to register beforehand, we could call a special meeting or whatever, but we don't want to do that without his details, okay? So it's gonna remove 11, 12, 13, and 16, and you want to add addressing the newspaper.
Removing 11, 12, and
Just put it
13,
in at the, yeah, so put it at the end, right before reports.
and then 16 and 16.
Correct. I didn't ask if you have a contract or not, but we don't have to do that as part of this, right? That's fine, okay. So taking out 11, 12, 13 to do with the treasurer,
All the treasure stuff.
and then 16 is Kelly's absent as well.
Yeah, I have a question. Now, when we tabled it, did we say to the next meeting or we said to?
Yep, it says clarification at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
We do a clarification. We can provide that.
Or do the same thing to these then? Or until next week? Probably.
That, yes, until he's
People are here.
So you're gonna, I think we should work, I think we should just do the motion that Lexi to add the newspaper and then get that motion taken care of. And then move on to the other ones.
We can't do them all together. You don't think?
We have one item, action item on there right now, which is item 4, which is to approve the agenda. So if we're going to make amendments to the agenda, I would like those to all be in a singular motion. Thank you.
So are you tabling 11, 12?
Tabling 11, 12, 13, and 16. And then adding clarification on the newspaper,
Okay.
which would be the item 12, I think, correct? Take out
So somebody has to make a motion to that.
correct.
I thought she was.
I did.
She did.
She made a
Just-
motion.
just-
You just didn't add the rest.
Putting the
so you-
table in.
Okay, and the amendments for the,
that we need to
13,
remove.
and 16.
Yep. Okay, I have a motion to remove items 11, 12, 13, and 16 and to add clarification of the newspaper to the agenda as stated in front of you today. Do I have a second? Lexi has made the motion.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second to move items 11, 12, 13, and 16 until they can be present, and to add clarification to the newspaper from the previous meeting to the agenda. Does everybody understand what we all did there? Okay, so therefore, if there's no further discussion, I will call for a vote. All in favor of amending the agenda per previous statements, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
And opposed, say nay. Heard all ayes. Motion carried. We will follow that agenda. Item 5, open opportunity to address the council. We have several of you here. Denny. Ambler, see you're ready. You have something to speak about?
No.
No? Oh.
You gonna read
You
to
guys see
us?
it?
From your
You
book?
got a good book on there or what?
Boring.
Well, then we don't want you to read it.
No, we don't want you to read it.
I suppose I could make it special somehow. I would doubt it.
Yeah, all right, we noted your attendance and nothing to say, all right. All right, you're here as your role, correct? Yep. Okay, and same for you, Ryan, as well? Okay, awesome, thank you, thanks for saying that. Okay, here to approve the minutes from the 1/3/23 meeting, which is next in your packet.
I found a couple of corrections. One is to approve the call rates for the Paullina ambulance, and I think it should be added. That has to do with the towns. Because first when I was reading it, I was thinking it was their call rates that they were getting. You know, it's for the towns when nobody's there and they go to pick up somebody, like $3.50, whatever the dollars were. So I thought that should maybe be a little more explained on there. And then further down, it says a new item to be added to the Paullina budget. That's the second last paragraph, and that should say for the library.
Is that what that's,
Yes.
had a
That
question
would
mark
be,
there too?
that would be for the library, so we have to add that.
Which one was that one?
Resolution, the second last paragraph.
Yeah, all right.
Resolution,
It's
new line item for the Paullina budget, because we talked about the budget for the ambulance. But the bottom, the next one is for the library. So what it's for.
So you
Oh,
have
it's
it
on the
to
first.
It's on the first page, yeah.
Okay.
And then the last paragraph, it's time count motions to accept, second by Jones, roll call vote. And then I think your typewriter was going faster than you. Because you got hand count motions, you got it again. So I think you want to just get rid of that. A little bit extra there. Oh, and then the very last sentence says the next council meeting will be on 2/6. It's today, so it'll be 1/16. What we did there.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, that's my only things I found.
I found something in there that I was a little confused on. If you go
Okay.
to the second page, at the very top, not the approved depositories, but approved the official newspaper. If you look at the very, like the last two sentences of that, vote taken to table motion to rescind for the official newspaper of Paullina. All ayes, motion table. I'm confused by that.
Yeah, with the motion carried, you're correct.
Is that just worded incorrectly, or?
Carried, because then they also
Well,
had,
because
also
a
voted to
motion was
table.
made and then it was rescinded.
Yeah.
So that's why it's doubled in there. I mean,
Yes,
it's
yeah.
not double, but I mean, that's what was going on. Because first it was made
Yeah. Jean
and
made
then
the motion,
seconded,
And then I rescinded it.
and then we rescinded it,
then
And that was
tabled,
seconded.
And then
and
tabled.
then tabled the
and then
agenda.
vote
Yeah.
taken to
So
table.
that
So
wording
that's
has to be
clarified.
corrected there.
Yep.
And I would add on your approved depositories and limits, we also have those in there,
And
very
limits.
top
And
row.
should actually put them in there.
Yeah, probably
think so
list
too.
them all.
I kind of
List
wondered
names
about that.
and limits.
So that, those should be in it.
Yeah, those are not. Get there. So we'll fix
What
that
was
up.
this other one here then?
Oh, we just
Oh,
need to
down there.
clarify that the one was carried and then the motion.
And weren't we gonna be doing, reading the minutes at the beginning of each meeting, like the behind and not every meeting?
I said that to Scott, he said, you know what? I think it should be, it's closer to you guys, it's more, right after the meeting. He said, I think it might be clearer, you know, what was your wording for me?
I mean, that way we just stay caught up on it,
Yeah.
stay caught up, but like you said too, freshen everybody's mind and make the needed corrections.
And I said, and I guess he's the city clerk, so if he wants to do that, we can get along with that.
Okay, so.
We'll let him make his own deal there,
Yeah, if there's things
like this.
Like that,
this,
yeah.
And
that's
two,
fresh in our memory,
yep,
I
another
think
month, it's
remember
gonna be,
what we did the last time.
right. So I kind of had to agree with him. But I tried, Lexi.
It's all right.
All right, anything else? Anyone does, just make sure Scott has those and he can address those and we'll print the revised version out for you for the next one. So yes, I need a motion to accept those amendments.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendments for January 3rd council meeting with the corrections that were listed.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Carol and a second by Jean to approve the minutes from 1/3/23 council meeting with the corrections we've made here tonight. Any other corrections or comments at this time? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes from the 1/3/23 regular council meeting with the corrections as noted this evening, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay. All ayes, motion carried, thank you. Payment of claims. You have those in front of you on blue paper this time. And there is an addition there in front of your, in front of your spot for that. Is that the only one? Yeah. So that's all Lori stuff.
No, so the others on the back. Right.
Or, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Any questions for anyone here?
Is there a reason on the claims that the Prairie Market one for the employees is on here 3 times for the same amount?
Unless it was
Split up.
divided out.
Different departments.
Except for water, sewer.
Okay.
So just divided it by 3 or 4, I'm guessing.
Since Eric Magnuson is an additional claim, did he go through that much water? Does it show? Or
No,
what?
it was,
Read wrong?
it was something with the meter because it actually corrected itself on
Okay.
the next billing period.
Okay.
And then also, normally when the water consumption is X amount of gallons, the sewer is very close to it. And the sewer was at the minimum
Okay.
rates. So,
Have they figured it out?
I don't know, I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you.
Could be a jolt on the bill, I think.
So we need to pay him a check for that then?
Yes, yeah.
1,200, I think.
It should be noted there on that sheet.
Yeah, it
What
is.
the refund is.
Thank you, Scott.
Everyone sees the one about the Legion. that's noted on today's blue packet. please.
Yeah, then with the Legion, they went to ACH payments, and not exactly sure what happened in there, but with the ACH, those have to be, when they're entered, or I should say payroll, whatever day that is, we have to actually put that in a folder and then email that to the bank. It's the same with utilities. And with utilities, for whatever reason, it didn't get done on the day that like say the 3rd, when it was due. Primgar gals were helping us, and then they noticed it, so they changed it like a week, maybe 10 days later. And then somewhere in there, when Phyllis stopped up here questioning the bill, it hadn't been paid yet. So that's why she wrote a check out for the utilities. We entered it into the utilities, and then with the ACH, that went through, so that pulled another utility bill out for the Legion. And that's what happened on that.
Any other questions for Scott? We can't ask Kelly right now, but I'm sure he'll get back to you if you have questions. These guys can't answer. Those items you want or whatever. Not a whole lot on this one compared to last time.
No. And you're gonna be doing those off
And,
these?
right, and we're gonna be doing these every meeting too, that way we can try to stay ahead of the bills too, so.
Great.
And just like what you said, shouldn't be that much on the claims list every year.
It's easier to sort through. Okay, does anyone have any other questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve payment of claims.
Our total claims is at 19,340. Is that what it is?
And that would have to be the addition of the
Yeah, well then it'll be plus whatever the utilities
32,
in addition.
your additional claims then after that.
Because you don't have a claim tonight, isn't on there
Right.
either.
Correct.
Right, and plus all the
Here.
That one.
other dollars,
This
yeah,
one?
that one's gotta go on yet.
Yep.
Then all the ambulance.
Yes, and I'm sure Lori can answer some questions on some of those. Hopefully.
Because I think your daytime now, you've added the nights just onto December because you were paid through the weekends before that, right?
Right.
So
And we
now
added
this
the
will be all your days, plus you're doing December weekends.
Weekends.
Okay. Sounds good.
And the days are for the county money, and the weekends are for the city.
Is what?
County money for the weekdays and weeknights. and city
Yeah, I
money.
think you got it right. Well, you got the portion that you had submitted for.
Yep.
So. Yep. So that will cover all your days.
Does everybody understand that relatively?
I'll make a motion to make the payment for the claims and the extra ones that are on the blue sheets.
All right, Karen's made the motion to approve payment of claims for the claims report and the additional claims provided tonight, as well as Magnus in the packet. Lexi, second, thank you. Anyone else have any further questions or discussion on any of the claims? Steve, anything adding up over there?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Doing some math, want me to wait?
Nope.
Okay, got it. Everybody else good with that? For now, we will call for a vote. All in favor of approving payment of claims, including the additional claims presented this evening, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay. You're all ayes, motion carried. Payment of claims allowed. Thank you. 8 is to approve a resolution to hire an assistant library director at $13 an hour for 10 to 15 hours a week. That is in your packet, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's in there.
There we go. And again, this is for the library board and their recommendation, and you have the, actually, we can't probably do that yet. Okay, I should, so if we have the resolution to approve their time, and we just approve the claims. That included that, so we have to. There's accounts, it's at the same meeting too. Because that was, Lori, correct? These included the dollar and per day and $1.50 per night, correct?
Yes.
Amounts?
Yes.
Okay, so all I'm asking is we just approve the claims, and yours were in there as claims, but our next resolution, because it's on the agenda a little later,
Oh,
was
okay.
to allow that, so.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's
So-
it's county money, so you're
Right.
just the clearinghouse for that.
Here's what I found.
So,
Right, I just didn't want to get us,
yeah.
see if we
yeah.
have to undo one and go back, or can we
Right.
just say, because it's at the same meeting, same steps.
It probably be better to pass the resolution first, just
Okay,
Liens
To
those
be
are
clear.
included in the claims.
so what do we need to do with the approval of claims? Have them rescind it? Okay.
I'll make the motion to rescind the claims.
Does Carol have to, because she made it? Or no? She doesn't take it, not necessarily.
I do not know the answer to that.
Okay.
Okay, Carol, you do it.
All right.
Because it's actually double billing here, too. July through November is just daytime. The December is doing both. So it's kind of confusing as far as if anybody really wanted to know.
Well, yeah, this sheet has the December weekends down at the bottom,
Yep.
and the whole 6-month budget period for weekdays and weeknights at the top.
Because that's never been paid.
Correct.
But we paid all the weekends through November. So now we found out we got supervisor money coming, so that's why now they've added their daytime call, day and night during the week.
When I had applied for the county money, I was not aware that the council had approved our budget for weekends. So apparently it's double dipping if you use money from 2 sources to pay the same thing. And I had included in my county application that I would like to just split it evenly between my team, which pretty much Amber's math does. So I am not the mathematician behind any of this. And Amber's out west, so you can't ask her. But yeah, so that's basically what this is doing with the county money, then moving that from a weekend and even split to weekday and weeknight.
So your December though is quite a bit more each time, it's like 200 and something. That does not include the weekends that you have down below?
No, I don't think so. No, because there are 2 different budget sources. That was, in the other sheet that I think she sent with it, December includes, because we only have 1 person on call during the days, includes Christmas bonus for everybody, which is why the December is higher.
Okay. I didn't know what, I was thinking that included the weekends, but it did not.
Nope.
So we rescind the motion of paying the claims plus I'll rescind that motion of paying all the claims to just the claims plus the one with the Legion.
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay. And the hours on call, the hours of the ambulance calls. I'm gonna include that one.
40% and then start over. Yeah. Yep, okay. So first, just rescind.
Okay, I'll rescind the regular motion.
I'll second.
Okay, from claims, okay. All right, so I have a rescind for payment of claims item 7 from Carol and Lexi. rescind payment this time, okay? And everyone understand what we're doing and why? Just because of the order of the ambulance resolution. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay. All ayes, motion carried. Payment of claims rescinded at this time. Now we will then proceed to the next items and come back to item 7, if that's okay with everyone, so that we can address this in the right order. Okay. So item 8 was to approve the resolution to hire the library. We already had last time was the library director. This is an assistant director role, and they have worked it
How
out.
do they like, do they clock in, what, do they have like thing, like, how do they, hours?
Want to speak to that? I don't know.
As far as I know, I don't know that they have a time clock. I think
Wouldn't it be kind of like smart to do something like the guys do? I don't know, so
I
we're,
think they only have a handful that
they don't, and they work so many few hours, you know, it's all part-time, so. Other than, well, even the directors are part-time.
I'm just thinking of like legally, like, you know, some people don't, you know, writing down or whatever, like at least, you know, the guys punch in with their stamp and it's not their own handwriting. Just an idea. I don't know, I'm just thinking legally wise.
With the new director, maybe be something to,
and we can ask what they currently are doing.
or talk to.
I didn't know if they just meant, I was
They're right.
scheduled right now.
Yeah,
and
they
then
write their hours in now, is what they're doing.
I'm just thinking legal wise, you know,
some tracking.
yeah, if we need to track instead of just handwriting, but.
More guys are like, well, yeah, they do time clocks, yeah. All right, so the resolution to hire an assistant library director, I need someone to read that first part. If you would like to be the person to introduce that resolution.
I'll introduce it. Resolution to hire an assistant library director. This person will work 10 to 15 hours per week and be paid $13 per hour. Be it resolved by the council of the city of Paullina, Iowa, to hire an assistant library director. This person will work 10 to 15 hours and be paid $13 per hour.
Steve? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Who wants it?
Go ahead.
Carol. All right, Steve's introduced the resolution and Carol has seconded it. Do we have any questions regarding this for the library? Okay, if there are none, I will call for a roll call vote. Ready?
Steve,
Aye.
Carol,
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Lexi,
Aye.
and Jean.
Aye.
Unanimous ayes. Resolution passed and approved the 16th day of January 2023. Thank you. Okay, now to the next resolution, item 9. For the ambulance on-call weekday and weeknight rates.
I'll introduce it.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Resolution for incentive pay for weekday on-call hours for Paullina ambulance. $1 per hour for days, $1.50 per hour for nights. Be it resolved by the council of the city of Paullina, Iowa, the incentive pay for weekday on-call hours for Paullina and ambulance, $1 per hour for days, $1.50 per hour for nights.
Aaron, good. Any other questions? Lori on that, or everybody's got it? Okay, all in favor of, sorry, roll call vote.
Steve,
Aye.
Carol,
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Lexi,
Aye.
and Jean.
Aye.
Okay, got all ayes recorded. Resolution passed and approved this 16th day of January 2023. Should we go back to, now let's go back then to the claims, to address those in order. Now we can entertain the entire approved payment of claims like we did before.
All right, I make a motion to approve the claims and extra claims for the Legion and ambulance calls, daytime and night calls, and the weekends. Oh, and Eric's. That's right, I didn't see.
Okay, all right, Carol has made the
Find
motion.
which pocket it was in.
I'll second.
And Lexi has seconded to approve payment of all claims presented this evening from the original claims report, the additional Legion, the additional ambulance on-call and weekend nights, and all of it pay, and Eric Magnuson. Do we have any other questions or confusion over that? That we made it a little more complicated. Okay. Hearing none, we will call for a vote on that. All in favor of approving payment of claims, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay. All ayes, motion carried, claims approved, for real this time. Thank you for your patience through that process.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Okay. And next we are to item 10, am I correct? Yes, item 10, to appoint the city's attorney to a one-year term. And we have Tisha here again, willing to take this on for another 1 year.
I'll
Maybe
make
less
the
fun.
motion to approve, to appoint Tisha as our city's attorney.
I'll second.
All right, there's a motion from Lexi and a second from Dean. To appoint Tisha to our one-year term city attorney. Do we have any other questions or discussion on that? All in favor of appointing Tisha as the city's attorney, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay. All ayes, the motion carried. Official appointment begins. And as we said, we took off the treasurer right now because we already have that addressed for the last motion with Carol and the interim, so it's just, we'll wait until he's ready for that to be here for that. Good. 14, which isn't 14 anymore, the approval of the adoption of the city's records release policy, which you should have had in your packet as well, couple of pages. Tisha, you want to point out your couple, anyway, first of all, I guess, does anyone else have anything they have questions about or confusion about, or anything right off the bat?
Tried to read through everything and understand it, and I pretty much did understand it. This is in addition to the ordinance that we have in place, or clarifies the ordinance that we have in place? Or how's that gonna work?
Yeah, so, this is a policy to set up how any records requests should be handled. So it just gives guidance on how those are made, how those are responded to. Mostly it's incorporating that the city is aware of and following the Iowa code with regard to public records.
So, right, it doesn't undo as far as whose role it is or anything? No, that is still established from your ordinance and from your previous, this is just, we never had a policy before about all of this. So we have to do that as part of the Guy Canby resolution, which is the step we'll address. And there are not fees per page included in this because that is really up to you to set. We have several examples we can share with you, but
I wondered about that.
yeah.
I did look at paragraph 4 on page 2 and had some recommendation on how to reword that, just to incorporate more specifically the language from the Iowa Public Information Board and the Iowa Code. So I was proposing that read requests for access to public records may be made in any format, and the custodian shall not require the physical presence of a person requesting or receiving a copy of a public record. Records request to inspect or copy public records maintained by the city should, if possible, be made in writing via a letter, email, or fax, period. Ideally, the requester should put the request in writing using the City of Paulina's public records request form. However, it is not required that a person requesting a public record complete a form prior to the city releasing a public record. And then I also had some wording changes with regard to the fee schedule. For that first paragraph under fee schedule, I would propose that read reasonable fees may be charged to the requester for the actual cost of producing a public record for inspection and or copying. Actual costs include costs that are directly attributable to the work to respond to a records request. And then one of the things that I noticed some policies reference is like along with postage, also including media. If you use a DVD or a zip drive or something like that. So I just had made a note about adding postage and media and using actual costs for both of them. And then in the disclaimer, I just had a wording change at the end of the second sentence where it says provided by the city. I think it should just say in compliance with all local, state, and federal laws. It just was a flow language is how that reads, but yeah. And then like Brenda said, the copy numbers are not filled in there so that you guys could discuss what you thought was appropriate. They tend to range from 25 cents up to $1, depending upon size of paper, coloring, those sorts of things. Some of them, if you're looking like at an aerial map, some of them have like a $3 charge for that, but I don't see if that's going to be something that we're run into.
So there's that, just we have to have the.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, it's on now. Yeah, so the O'Brien County Conservation Board, for example, only offers black and white copies, and they have 30, 35 cents, and 40 cents for the largest, 11 by 17, double-sided, so that's one option. I couldn't find the county courthouse version, but you could say, let's follow that. It's up to you to.
What did you say they over in time? 30?
30 cents for single-sided, that first.
Yep.
And then the second one is 35 cents for the next two, and then the last one is 40 cents. That's 30, 35, 35, and 40.
And they didn't have color?
They do not offer color here.
Do we offer color? Do we have a printer that has
We
color?
do have color capability.
Honestly, I don't know that there'd be stuff that you would need that for just so.
Since you want it provided black and white, the cheapest version.
Well, let's get rid of the color.
Okay.
So I can make that a motion?
Or if you want to make your modifications.
You don't have to do that separately.
Just told us though, do we have to have that added yet to this?
Yes, correct, all that's, we are getting IPIP to also make sure they.
And then the fees.
Yeah, so you think does anyone want to follow the O'Brien County Conservation Board or seek out other?
Which they probably cost to the county anyhow.
I would assume.
I would say that's good.
Just did theirs.
Yeah. Let's just go with it.
Okay, I'll make the motion to accept this with Tisha's rewording and adding on to everything, and then going with the O'Brien County, conservation for how much we charge.
Okay.
And no color.
Yes, Steve, do you have any other changes to add to your motion? Otherwise, Lexi's made the motion to accept the revisions from Tisha and to fill in the fees for the O'Brien County Conservation Conservation Board of 30 cents, 35 cents, 35 cents, and 40 cents in black and white. There's no other, looking for a second to
I'll
support.
second that.
Jan for the second, thank you. There's any other discussion or questions or changes, Tisha, or anything else? Everyone understand it for the most part? And this, like I said, it is only pertaining to city departments, it is not fire, ambulance, police, they have different laws and policies to follow on theirs, and for establishing that. Okay. As any other questions at this time, I will call for a vote to approve. All in favor of approving the public records request policy as established here with the additions for Tisha and the prices added in, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, say nay. All ayes, no nays, motion carries. Now the policy, congratulations, we did it. Okay. We'll get you a revised copy probably by the next meeting to verify all of that. Okay, approve the resolution to pay outstanding taxes on the former Johnson property, item 15, which there are two options, parses.
There's
How do you
two
speak on that?
separate items to deal with on that.
Just kind of explain that,
Yeah.
how that all, the
So
special
this is
taxes.
just not the part that had to be used on, right? It's just
Yvonne's part.
Just Yvonne's,
Right.
okay,
The two parcels.
yeah, yep.
Because if we don't pay the taxes, then somebody can get us on a tax salary.
Right, so one way or another, you have to deal with the taxes, or it will go on the tax sale again. So there's a resolution with regard to the property taxes, because there's outstanding property taxes that had not been paid. Those can be abated by the county, which means essentially that they're forgiven. And I don't really see any reason not to do that, so you just have to request that the county abate those taxes, and then assess whatever would be due to the city going forward, which shouldn't be any since the city's exempt. Then separate from that, there's a special assessment on that property for the road work that was done. So the council can decide to cancel that special assessment for that property, which would then leave off moving whatever's still owed on that for the street improvements, and would also leave off the money that was used to get the property when the house was taken down and those things. The council can also pay that outstanding special assessment, and since it's money owed to the city, it would come back to the city, all except a $5 maintenance fee. The question, kind of for the council to consider, is what your purpose is with that property. And if you're looking at wanting to sell it, then you may want somebody to pay that special assessment. It may also be a reason that somebody doesn't buy the property. If you're going to use it for city purposes, then, or something, some incentive wise or something, then there's really no reason to keep the special assessment on it. But either way, if you want to keep it for now until you decide things, if we pay it, really essentially that's coming back to the city. So there is a resolution to cancel that in there, but you may decide you don't want to cancel it either. But they are two separate items. One's the property tax, and I don't see any reason not to have that abated, and then the special assessment's separate.
So if we abate it, then is that the small amount or is that the special?
That's a smaller amount.
Okay, the 700 something.
Yep.
So that's your second page, and there's the abatement.
Because I knew the total was 17,000 something with the specials and with the taxes. And we don't have to we wouldn't have to do anything for like a month or two. Is it by March we have to have something paid?
Right.
Right, and would that have to be just that 796? Regular tax on, the real estate tax on it?
this part of the tear down too and everything on that? On this?
Yeah, so currently,
$7.96.
I mean, currently to bring it current, the city would have to pay $17,166.50.
That's with all the specials though.
That's with all the specials.
That's for the
17,000
street.
what?
17,166.50.
Of that, 16,370.50 is the current special assessments.
Right.
Um,
So the tax is
So,
like $7.96.
yeah, the 796 is the taxes, so that, would- if you do the abatement, that would be the part that's abated. The 16,370.50 would be what the city would need to pay to keep the special assessment in place. And yes, essentially that doesn't have to be paid until it be delinquent, which would be by April 1st.
That would be, yes.
And nobody could take the property over on that special
You can go on,
assessment,
you
right?
can go on tax sale, but
Can
she
I-
said by what, June 1st? I thought that's what Missy.
Yeah, I think, once it's delinquent, then you have a time frame to bring it current.
Yep.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
said otherwise, if you don't do anything, it will go on tax
Right.
sale.
Yeah, and again, I don't see any reason not to abate the real estate taxes, so I would proceed with that. If you want to consider the special assessment side of it more, that doesn't have to be decided tonight. That's something that you guys could give thought to and decide at the next meeting or in
Because either
February.
way, we can get that back.
Right,
But we have to pay that first.
right,
It's basically our money coming back.
right.
Yeah.
to
You
us.
lose a $5 maintenance fee, the county gets to keep a $5 maintenance fee, as you said, but essentially it cycles through.
So if you sell the property, you have to ask for that person to make up the abatement, that non-abatement.
Yeah, so I mean, right now, if you sold the property, it would be assessed, I mean, just like it is. So the remaining assessment, I think for the street is just under 3,600. And then for the nuisance is just under 8,000.
Yeah.
So when you, so I have the total here.
We can't, since the city put that abate against that nuisance, we can't just brush that off, you know, or.
Yeah, that's what the resolution would do.
Okay,
You could
okay.
cancel that, but that depends, again, that depends if you want it canceled, or if you think you're gonna get rid of it and somebody else is gonna pay that to the city, you may collect that from someone else.
But it also could hinder our selling of it too.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
at
isn't
the same
that the
time-
whole, isn't that the whole thing about when we tried this at the bowling camp?
I think you're exactly right, yeah.
Yeah, right.
We sat on that and then it cost us, you know, so. That's the problem with that street assessment is you have those delinquent properties and, you know, we're sitting out, either we take a hit on it or, you know.
Right.
Well, let's do the resolution at least to get that.
The
The taxes, yeah, the taxes,
anyway.
get that taken
Get
care
that
of.
abatement, yeah.
Cause I don't wanna lose it on a tax sale.
No, that would be down after all this.
Yeah. How much we spent on this.
Amen, all this bring
That's
little.
the bad thing about junk property.
Okay, who would like to volunteer to read from resolution and bold there down to just before pass and approve for me? After that?
Who's a good reader?
No.
Me.
I can do it. City of Paullina, resolution to request the abatement of the accrued property taxes on property owned by the city of Paullina, Iowa for public purposes within the city limits of the city of Paullina, Iowa. Whereas the city of Paullina, Iowa owns the property located at 403 East Broadway Street, Paullina, Iowa, having acquired the same from a tax sale purchase. And whereas the tax parcel ID for the above property is 000161600, and whereas the city of Paullina, Iowa took ownership of the property on or about November 2nd, 2022, and whereas the council of the city of Paullina, Iowa finds it appropriate under the circumstances to request the abatement of the accrued taxes, whether past due or accrued and not yet due, and to so inform the O'Brien County Treasurer so that the O'Brien County Board of Supervisors can take action to formally abate said taxes as required by the Iowa Code, Section 455.63. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Paullina, Iowa, that the Paullina City Manager inform the O'Brien County Treasurer of the decision of the Paullina City Council to request the abatement of the taxes accrued and accruing on the above identified tax parcel consistent with the Iowa Code Section 445.63.
Okay, time out. The only thing, we said that on the agenda, we couldn't put, should it be city administrator instead of manager?
Clerk/administrator.
Yeah, instead of,
Yeah, I would change that.
Yeah.
because on here it says,
Yeah.
so we need to get that changed. That's the only thing. I'll second with my change. Everything Carol said with my change.
Just write that to Lexi Goodbye. Okay, so Carol has introduced the resolution and Lexi has slightly amended and seconded it to change the board manager to clerk/administrator to match our ordinance with the ordinances. Do we have any other discussion on this? Hearing none, we'll call for a roll call vote.
Steve,
Aye.
Carol,
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Lexi,
Alright.
and Jean.
Aye. Alyssa.
All ayes. Resolution passed on
No, definitely doesn't say
this,
no.
what is it, 16th day. 2026. Yeah, I remember.
What is,
We have our call.
She went to get it.
I know she's gonna call Amanda too, make sure she's ready for us.
what is currently due to bring it current is $16,376.
Unless I thought that was the size.
Yes.
That was corn property.
Yep.
That's the special assessment.
16,000.
We only have one agenda item, so that leaves us free to, don't have to address the other resolution, we can add it to a later, right, still we have it, correct?
I move that we table.
No action happened.
Oh, no.
We did do
It wasn't
one
separated out
Yep.
on there,
Okay,
right? Yep.
sounds good.
Yeah, she gives the choice, so we just have to choose it. And so we will see that probably at the next meeting. All right. Okay, it is 6:23. We are scheduled for our Zoom presentation by the League of Cities person at about 6:30. So keeping that in mind, we are going to speed through our remaining items perhaps, if we can. Unless everyone wants to just come back after the meeting and stay longer. I attended the O'Brien County Joint 911 Service Board and Emergency Management Commission meetings, and there are additional meetings related to their budgeting and things just like regular. I'm happy to fill you in on specifically, but their minutes are available for your review if you would like, or anything else I can add to that, but at this time I won't go into great detail. And Darren from the Northwest Iowa Planning Development is not able to make our next meeting because he's already scheduled for a meeting. We will be in February. It's not the Monday because that's a holiday, whatever that next day is. It's Tuesday. Yeah, President's, yeah. So it's the Tuesday. So he will be attending that one for us to discuss what all they can offer and provide related to some of our projects we're looking to do going forward. Okay? So that was Darren, and do you want to go next and address the?
Yep. We did have Williams and Company here last Thursday, Friday. Went through the books, going through, looking things over. They thought they'd have to be here 1 or 2 days, possibly this week to finish up, and then they'd have to compile all their information. And they said that'll be a week or two down the road for that, so. Also had a couple residents stop up. They own some property up on Broadway. They are using a building for storage, and they wanted the garbage taken away, didn't want to pay the garbage fees anymore. And they asked if there'd be any way they could go back and have, since they haven't used the garbage, if they could have that money refunded.
We had that request one time for that one guy over there, doctor, what's his name, and we didn't do it. You know, they should.
Yeah.
Forward, I think,
Yeah, I'll speak with them tomorrow, that's,
Well, especially if you go back and give them credit. Holy
Well,
moly.
Yeah.
I don't know if, I mean, if we stop the garbage, I don't know that we want to refund it because we've already paid. it.
correct, that's
Right.
what I'm
Yes,
saying,
right.
no refund.
So-
It's
No,
not-
You
no
can't,
refunds.
you can't
I don't think we can
refund.
refund.
Right.
No,
Oh,
you could probably stop it,
Yeah,
but
you
there
can
should be
stop
no
it, yeah.
refund.
We've stopped it before,
Right.
you know, people that.
But no,
We
there
can't
be no
refund.
refunds. We've already paid them.
Okay, my question is, okay, so I've been noticing, and then I have had other customers or people in the community tell me, our rates haven't been changed. So they needed to have been changed back, I think in September or October. And so are we gonna get a rebate, like what's gonna happen there?
Rates for what, our
don't-
garbage, you mean?
No, like
No,
a
like
city,
electric.
electric.
Like
Oh,
yours
well, they're
got
supposed to be
changed.
getting back to us on that, weren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Because that was, yeah, something that we talked about earlier this year.
Cause that was supposed to be done back in September and October, so are we all gonna, how is that gonna,
I don't know. I
rebates
don't know
or?
what's not moving.
So who deals with that, like,
Well, I think we're gonna have to get ahold of the person that is in here. Talk to us about it. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, the rate study person.
Yeah.
yeah, I've got her.
I think
Yeah.
she's talking about going from summer to winter.
Yeah.
Yes, correct,
Oh.
right,
Yeah.
yes. so
Yeah, cause
she
we've
would be
never,
your
we've
transfer.
never changed the rates like we all.
Well, it's
we,
supposed to be done in
we do,
September.
we always do it in September.
Well, I
and
know,
then
I know, but I mean, we
Right.
were gonna raise the rates.
We're also gonna
5%.
raise the rates for
Right.
everybody,
Yeah,
that
that's
too.
right.
I thought that's what you were talking
That
about.
was like
Yeah,
half
this
a
is
year
something
ago.
completely
No,
different
this is
now.
just.
This is
Yeah,
for
I
the
get
summer,
what you're
this is
talking
for the summer and winter
Yes,
electrical
is
rates.
that
so-
what you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that
yeah.
didn't get done.
That did not get done.
Well, I thought you said that gal up there, MRAS, said they take care of it.
No, I was with Carol last week, we were in the process of switching it,
Yeah.
but then she got busy and we
Okay.
didn't get back.
That's
to
why I
it,
was talking
so-
about, like, we are supposed to switch, are we gonna get rebates, like, or how are we gonna,
Well, I didn't get done last year either, right on time.
Yeah, I don't think it ever did for.
Yeah, well, I know, she had to do it later.
We'll find out from MRS.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
What they intend,
Can,
what they suggest.
can we do adjustments on it? Kind
I
of
wanna see.
go back a couple months or whatever. When does it actually change?
September 1st?
September it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So we'll look into that.
Scott,
But we also need to know on this others when we're going to start
Right.
adding to our
Right,
electric
yes.
bill
And-
to help fund our,
Yeah, the
Right.
improvements, the
Upcoming
We should
electric
do that
improvements.
before summer.
Yep.
we need to get
Cause she
that.
was gonna come back, I remember that, but.
Yeah, and talk about
Okay.
that
Yep.
too.
you guys look into a new copier, I think we need a new copier. It's slow. It should be
Very
faster.
temperamental.
Do we own it or do we lease
Temperamental.
it?
It's a lease.
leased.
Lease. We'll get them in here and work on it then if it's a lease.
Well, he said it's how old, so I said they might wanna look to update for what you go through.
Cantankerous.
And
Yes.
I have another question. Does the school committee that comes out and explains the new additions that they want to do?
Correct. Would you like them to come to
You
our
wanna
next
be on
meeting
it?
with that?
Do we? No, I don't want to be on them.
No,
No.
Would they come to do it at our next meeting on February?
Would you like to hear what they have to say or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a steering committee that is gonna go out to try to pass.
I'll put in a request.
Or don't they wanna vote for this like March 1st or
March
March
7th.
Yeah.
7th?
Wow, is that soon?
Yep.
There's a meeting on Wednesday night, so.
Are they just not like advertising, like, you know, I'm hearing it through like
Oh.
other people, like I didn't even see anything on Facebook on their pages or nothing?
It's on Facebook now, so.
Oh, it is,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I just
Last
missed it.
week it got
Okay,
pushed through on a lot of stuff. You can, I think there's a link that you can go to directly to all the information about it too.
It's a big amount.
I've heard the amount.
We need to be informed, so.
Yes.
I'll,
It's
Thank you.
it's a 30 to 40 year fix though. So
Yeah, it's quite a, like,
Yeah, it's, so they wanted to do anything for 30, 40 years. And I used to drive that bus. They bus those kids at the Prairie Guard, back and forth
Yes.
for practices and that, so.
The Paullina meeting right now is scheduled for March 1st. But they'll be in Primgar on February 1st and in Sutherland on February 15th, and then school on March 1st with a tour at 6 PM and a 7 PM presentation. So if you would like them to come speak directly, they have committee people that will come do that. They can't go to chamber meeting the other night, so we'll request that. For our February 5th, okay, or 6th. Okay, and did you, a reminder of our workshop? with
Yeah, Wednesday
Prumgar?
at 5:30 in Prumgar, workshop with the Prumgar City
Oh,
Council,
that's right, you said that.
at the Prumgar City Hall.
Okay, 6:30.
Weather permitting.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
like,
can't
Cancel
cancel
the last
one,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have to have it on Zoom, we can't make 10 miles. All right, Nathan, would you like to speak? Dennis?
We did an interview with our applicants. The next step will be, we should be getting a post test, so we need to do that and have them demonstrate the physical assessment of compliance. And I think after that, and I've got some background stuff to check yet. And then if that all goes well, then we can do a conditional offer and then we do another PI if there's a
So keep us up to date on that process.
Are you
Moving
taking
along.
care of that, or is Scott Gimmel, or you?
They need to order the post test and then we'll need to figure out somebody who can oversee the post and
Yeah.
the run.
Yeah.
I'll attend if I can, but probably best to have somebody else.
You've done it before, haven't you? G, have you done it too?
Under witness.
Does
let's
this
see if it
fall
snows
under,
off the track though. to do
Huh?
it.
Yeah, I know one year we arranged and went up to the center at
Yes.
MCC.
Yeah, NCC
Sure,
got the
that would
track
work.
up there.
Indoor track, sounds
Yeah,
better.
that would be nice.
does this fall under the public safety committee?
I don't know.
Well, partially that, partially.
Doesn't make,
I guess,
makes no difference.
potentially. All
I'd like
right,
to see him run, 'cause I think he's gonna move.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
anything else to add? Oh, yeah.
At our township meeting on Tuesday night, went over our rates and stuff. Proposed rate increase, and everybody was fine with that, so. Yeah, that's a minimal increase compared to what we're seeing for increase in their equipment and stuff, so. Plus, there's some stipulations you have to kind of play by also. So, but, no, everybody was okay, we're getting finished finalizing the contracts and get them mailed out, so. Be signed, and then they'll go in effect on July 1st.
And you wanna tell him that we got a different clerk for union?
So, yeah, we have Bob Faust retired from Union Township, so Anita Freck is our new township clerk.
Is Union big or small? Is the Union the big one or the small?
Yeah,
that's-
Union's our biggest township, and we're the only fire department that services Union Township. But that will all be part of my fall annual report. Next meeting.
Maureen, anything more to add?
Let's see, we are working on some resiliency training this month with Orange City. I've been in contact with No2, which is the group that will send our run reports to the hospital so you don't have to. I just heard from him today. We want the full report where we can access patient histories. That would be $960 a year. Or to just have them send our PCRs to the hospitals, destinations, $480 a year.
What's the best? What would
Um,
you guys want? I mean, what do you do now?
Well, since Sandy's been gone, this hasn't been getting done. So, I like the idea of having the patient history. But I would say probably, at least for the first year, the standard subscription would be sufficient, which is the $480 annually. And that's based on our transport volume of, we have roughly 100 calls a year. And includes the integration with Image Trend and sending the EPCRs to any and all hospital destinations.
And that comes out of the ambulance fund?
That would come out of that would be in our budget.
Okay.
So that'll probably temporarily out of, if we jump on it right away, probably out of our fund, and then for the first 6 months, and then the budget for the rest, in the new budget line. Yeah.
And you might have enough in your budget right now even. for
Yeah,
that,
which
for
I
that.
need a copy of. So, I can start working on my new budget, see where you're at.
Yes.
Because right now, we pretty much go to 4 hospitals. Pretty much, we go to Orange City mostly, some to Mercy, and every half a dozen times a year to Cherokee or Sheldon. So there is a setup of $200 per hospital for Mercy, Cherokee, and Sheldon.
Yearly?
No, that's a one-time setup.
Okay.
So 600, so about 1,080 off the bat to get that rolling.
Yeah, you might have enough in your budget.
Okay.
Different line item.
Yeah. So, and had a request for an application from someone who's currently on the Sheldon ambulance squad on SCAT. And they bought a house here in town and they're moving back sometime. They don't know when they're moving. So it sounds like they've got work to do on their house before they can move. So I'm anxious to get that back. And that's pretty much what we're working on. And if we could change one point of language, instead of being ambulance president, I'd like that to be service director. That will bring city documentation in line with state code.
Does that match your, what you call it, you had in your bylaws or whatever?
Yes.
I don't think it's in ours either, or it doesn't say
That-
president here, possibly.
That brings, I'm still working on updating our bylaws to state code, but that will bring your language to state code.
I'll see where we have to update things.
Will have to be changed in the ordinance. That's not how it's listed.
I think so.
And then also,
They'll have to change on the EOP and, so yeah, if all that get changed before we get all this 500 and some pages printed out,
That'd be great.
that would be fantastic.
Yeah, so whoever has potential ones they know of that need to be addressed, he'll start compiling a list and you get them to Scott and he'll gather it and we'll see what needs to be updated and put some things on the agenda so we can start updating those. Because I think they're ready to work on the application if we send them things, but I don't want to send them everything until we fix the ones we know we need to fix. Oh, did you have anything further? I don't think you did. Johnson property, we're gonna have a meeting to address on that.
Need to go. Do you have anything else for me?
I just got some papers that need to be signed.
Okay, I have another meeting, so.
And I'm late. We're gonna look at it. State petition, update them. Okay. And the library, you're already aware of the new candidates there, two directors and an assistant director.
I'm assuming that's just a Better King.
And our other
Yeah,
committees
that'd
have
be our
not
phone
met
bill.
yet.
All right.
Employee soon. And so all the others
Actually,
actually,
I did the
We
Nate,
did there,
Scott,
we
we did for the health department.
okay. Council comments, we've kind of already made some of those.
I have the signed Orange City document for you
Okay.
to add to your file.
We did get, so by the way, is coming in, so for our meeting, we'll just switch over to the other room for the meeting. She's calling you right now, she's calling you what to do.
Do we need to address the clarification for the newspaper?
Okay,
And
we can address that. Do you want to go call, do you know where she went? Michelle, sorry, hang on. Is Michelle gone right now?
Yeah,
She was
no,
gonna call.
she's up there.
Ryan, can you go, can you start that meeting, or, oh, Michelle was there?
That's what we go.
She must say, she was just calling. Okay, Bill, log in. Sorry. All right, clarification on the newspaper. So, what is that? The state code, you know the requirements for the state code, for a newspaper, cities are free to use any newspaper that meets the requirements in 618.3 of the state code. Here are the requirements, has to be in English, has to be published, you know, all those, we already touched on all those, there's 4 things really, 5 in English. There's no requirement to only use one newspaper as we discussed, or select a newspaper for a certain period of time. And the state code does not specifically require cities to designate, Zoom. This requires cities to designate an official city newspaper for publication services, purposes, sorry. The state code sets forth no specific requirement for a city government to formally designate a newspaper. That is also true regarding a city selecting one or more newspapers for publication purposes, as well as publishing any required items in more than one newspaper. There are no limitations in chapter 618 in the number of newspapers a city can use, and no state law that says a city must publish its required items in more than one newspaper, to answer the question that was brought up last time. So,
And that was from
this is from Mickey Shields, Iowa League of Cities.
Iowa League of Cities. And then we asked about, on the state code, chapter 618.3, and that shows the requirements. And I get those, but then my question was, for further clarification, was 618.14.
Importance, yeah.
I asked for clarification on that and never got it last week.
Oh, from me or anyone, or, oh,
I
I
talked to Scott.
do you want to, here's that right here.
Yeah, I did get Scott's question on that, and I responded to Scott about it.
Okay.
618.14 is considered, and I did talk to Mickey Shields of the Iowa League about it as well. 618.14 is considered a discretionary provision of the code. So essentially, the council has discretion to publish anything that they think is of public importance, and that's what that section is related to. And it gives guidance on where you could publish those things if you wanted to, and if you wanted to publish it in more than one place, you can. But the requirements for what a city has to do to publish notice is governed by 618.3. And a notice has to comply with a paper being of general circulation.
That would be, the way it was described to me is say you wanted to take out an additional ad or have an additional story published or something, or a letter to the editor or whatever, those are your options as well to do so in 618.
Rather than just doing the minutes,
Rather
send
than
out
just
the
the
clean
If
straight
you
straight
really
out.
wanted to draw attention to something.
Display advertising
Yes.
is like we did for the police ad, and
Okay.
police officer, and straight matter is a story essentially, an article. So does that help?
So we can have one paper, 2 papers, or we don't have to put anybody down.
We don't have to designate a paper.
We don't have to designate.
We don't need to designate.
Actually, she said that it's not, what she, how she,
The state code does not specifically require cities to designate an official city newspaper for publication purposes. That's
We just have to make sure our stuff is
It
published.
says
what's happened to me. He has
about
to,
the publication
publish the
purposes,
minutes.
that is the best practice and commonly done by cities.
They can put it in the same spot.
And I don't know if there has been a resolution in the past doing that. I don't know if that's ever been an action the council has taken or not.
All I know is that we appointed somebody prior years, you know.
I mean, it's not appointed.
But I don't know that. We,
Yeah.
this year,
No.
no, but I said prior years,
Right.
that's what we did. We appointed for all these different things.
Yeah, and I don't know in those appointments, I mean, I don't know how that reads.
I don't, yeah, 'cause
Anything
there's-
that's in there, if there's any terms or anything like that. But it isn't, it's not a requirement that you designate one. But, yeah, obviously, it's mentioned that it's best practice that you know who you're using so that there's no confusion on that. But it's not required and there's not a specific time that that has to be addressed. It's not something that has to be appointed at the beginning of the year or anything like that. It can be done
Anytime.
unless you have a contract, which some of the larger cities probably
Oh,
could,
sure.
that has terms as to how to terminate that or when it ends. Unless that, other than that, there's no requirements that a city choose it in January or they do it in July or whenever. There's nothing on that. It's a different process than the counties have to use.
I'm just gonna say that, you know, we're all about support local, support our local businesses and everything. So I feel like we need to support our local towns of businesses, because what happens if someday they wanna sell, we wanna get a newspaper or something back, or maybe a younger person to take it back, that would be, I feel like we're all about, let's support local businesses, let's support our town. I mean, if we go out of town, I mean, that's gonna look kinda crappy on us, like, we're all talking about let's support our local businesses and all this. I mean, that would be like if we don't support the Wonderland Theater, you know, okay, well, then the Wonderland Theater goes, or if we don't support, I mean, we're all talk about support local, support our local businesses. I mean, going out of town, I mean, Sheldon never does. I mean, Sheldon never comes here and, I mean, maybe they do, I don't know, but we don't do anything with Sheldon, like, you know, besides wrestling or something, but that is, I mean, for the school,
Well,
but
they
that
do
is
the
that.
paper, the school paper, once a month,
School
isn't it?
paper, it's right here.
Yeah, they do the school paper.
And the sun,
So
that was
does
in
the
the sun.
local.
So I'm just, I mean, we've always talked about everybody's theory is support local. That's just.
I just have something to show you. This is the paper after a week after hometown Christmas, and this is the Sun, that they had a whole front page of stuff, and then inside they had the windows, story about the windows and all the people in there and that, and here's the, whatever they call it, the Bell-Times-Courier, let's see, whole back page, 3 little pictures, and one of them showing the Bell-Times-Courier handing out popcorn. You know, there's a big difference there, you know, it's, I don't know.
So do we wanna think about this and do it on our next agenda? Because of the fact we're supposed to be going to this meeting.
Yeah, we can't do that. We can't appoint an official paper.
Because nothing's on the
All
agenda.
this on the agenda was for clarification.
According to the League of City, we're not, should appoint official
Right.
newspaper.
So,
Well, they say you don't have to,
And you don't have to.
but they do say, they did reference the
Yeah.
practice of it.
They said it's not a good practice.
so is that clarification?
Okay,
Okay, well, I think we got it. Get in the other room.
Yeah, she said she's trying to download, but she don't have the right meeting maybe sent to
For
Scott.
which one?
Sent to, go send that meeting notice again.
They didn't have the right one.
He said it was on.
That's the one that you sent me.
All right. Okay, we just don't want to make her wait any longer, or nor you, and so we do have, like I said, some water, we got some pop, and I have some water take a bio break. Yes, we're gonna adjourn here in a second, and then well, actually, can we adjourn and have a workshop meeting if it's, or do we have to wait?
Probably adjourn afterwards, after I
Yeah,
do that.
say we have it up here. So, okay, so we will take our 2-minute possibly bio break and then run over to the Laue Room where we are set up and hopefully we get set up for our training. Sorry for the rush.
Or we have to take a test on this too?
I don't know if you have to take a test. I didn't ask her if there was gonna be a written or if you're gonna check your notes, maybe bring some notes.
Yeah, bring some papers. I got a tablet,
I'll
though.
scribble.
I'll give you a sheet.
I'll do it in school.
Thanks, Carol.
I got a tablet.
Did I miss anything good?
No, not anything that you probably already knew.
No,
Yeah, I just have to do that before.
no, she
Not to mention we've always talked about.
you can't, utility records are not public records.
I read something different.
Yeah.
There's some very information there. Restart yours.
Yeah, I gotta get it going here, man.
Wait, let me get that over here.
I just have little kids out there.
I know.
Tara's not home, so I gotta sit her.
Oh,
Do you ever start?
Sean and Danelle are watching my kid.
Oh, I was saying, you ever start these calls?
Tanner's gone for the next 4 days. Business and, business work for meetings down in Missouri, 8 hours away.
use those guys.
We wanted to take the Suburban, but that's my new vehicle, so
Do you have one else now? Did I have one else? They're not. Right?
I got rid of my Durango.
You did, okay.
Yeah.
Were you just going down the alley the other day, or, and I looked twice and I was like, I don't know if that's her or not. Okay, was it you? So maybe it was a different vehicle.
Not me.
I mean, think I
I
wasn't
could have a
maybe
twin out
if I
there.
knew you, but didn't know you. Sold me your car. It's one of the chiseling ice days I was out.
Oh, could have been my renter.
Rent your house.
Amber Barber.
Is that Mark Myers?
Niece.
Okay. I remember that Barbara name.
Can't we adjourn without we have a quorum here?
Technically, you're right. We're not really on it. We are. So yes, if you would like to make the motion and we could have, yeah, you are correct.
All right, I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Also,
Maxine has made a motion to adjourn,
We're on that
second by
way.
Jay. Do we have any further discussion? Is all in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That's 3 ayes, that we'll have to record that specifically, thank you.